These chapters present Rizal's memoirs as a student in Manila. During this time, Rizal had various encounters that significantly impacted his family and shaped his perspectives on the injustices of the society during the Spanish period. Furthermore, these chapters discuss a series of major events that took place during the first 3 years of Rizal's studies in Manila.
In 1871, Jose Rizal returned to his hometown in Calamba after staying in Binyan for a long time. His family decided that he must stay in Calamba for a while before heading to Manila to continue his formal studies. Around that time, a family scandal unraveled involving Jose Rizal's uncle, Jose Alberto, who had just arrived from Europe. Jose Alberto returned home and found his empty house. His children had been abandoned by their mother. This caused Jose Alberto to be distraught. He immediately looked for his wife and her whereabouts. At last, he caught her.
I am thinking of leaving her.
Alberto, please, give your marriage another chance.
Rizal's mother begged Jose Alberto not to take such a drastic decision. Therefore, Jose Alberto chose to stay with his wife, giving their marriage another chance. Not long after, another incident occurred to the family again. Jose Alberto was accused by his wife of being a poisoner and having Teodora Alonso, Rizal's mother, as accomplice. Teodora Formosa, Jose Alberto's wife, had Guardia Civil and Antonio Vivencio del Rosario, a mayor on her back. Del Rosario was close to the friars, which made it easier for him to imprison Rizal's mother immediately.
Why would they take my mother away from me? We used to welcome them to our home and treat them as our guests, but look what they have done.
Teodora Alonso was mistreated by the authorities as they continued to make false accusations about her. This made Rizal worried since their mother got sick as she kept away from her children.
You will be free as long as you say what we want you to say.
I will do whatever it takes just to be with my children again.
Teodora was deceived by Del Rosario as she cannot wait any longer to be with her family again. This made her defense weaker until she was defended by Francisco de Marcaida and Manuel Marzan, the most famous lawyer in Manila.
It was too late for the people who have hurt my mother before to beg for forgiveness as her case reached the Supreme Court.
After 2.5 years of legal battles, Rizal's mother was acquitted and her innocence has finally been recognized. However, Rizal still questioned how much of his mother's time had been wasted due to her wrongful imprisonment. To continue his studies, it was decided that Rizal must go to Manila with his brother Pasiano to take entrance examinations and study his secondary course at Ateneo Municipal.
Jose, starting today, you must no longer use our surname Mercado. It is dangerous for you to be associated with me since they knew that I was a close student of Padre Burgos.
Okay, Kuya, starting today, I will call myself Jose Rizal.
On June 10, 1872, Rizal took an examination on the Christian doctrine, arithmetic, and reading at the Colegio de San Juan de Letran. They later gave Rizal a grade of approve.
Rizal was introduced to Reverend Father Martin Fernando, wherein Rizal was not supposed to be admitted to Ateneo at first, since they just arrived after the period of admission was over. However, Rizal thought that it was because of his short stature or height, considering that he was 11 years old at that time.
That boy, Rizal, arrived past our admission period. He seemed to have a weak constitution as well. I doubt that he is worthy to be part of Ateneo.
Mother, Rizal seems to be a bright child. You must let him showcase his talents and skills first.
In the end, he was still admitted with the help of Mr. Manuel Jerez, a nephew of Padre Burgos, and has a licentiate in medicine. Jose Rizal had his first day at Ateneo, where he encountered different students. He stated that they were Spaniards, mestizos, and Filipinos. He had a Jesuit professor whom he had described as tall and thin. He also mentioned that he had interesting classmates. In Jesuit colleges and schools, the students were categorized into two groups, the Romans and the Carthaginians. This was a tradition to promote a positive competition between the students. Rizal was part of the Carthaginians as he did not board inside the campus.
Shortly after his class, his brother, Fasciano, was waiting for him to accompany him to where he'll be staying. After arriving, Rizal met Pastor Melina, who was around the same age as him.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jose Rizal.
Good morning. I'm Pastor Mariana. Nice to meet you.
Pastor and Rizal lived together inside the boarding house.
At the end of the month, he became emperor. He was awarded for being the brightest pupil in his class. However, he was not content with the remarks he received from his professor, and this led him to slightly neglecting his studies.
He spent his vacation back in his hometown and decided to visit his mother alone to inform her of everything that transpired at his school. His mother was so proud of him, and they soon embraced and wept.
You did well, anak. I'm so proud of you.
It is now time for him to return to Manila to enroll for his second year term at Ateneo and look for a new landlady. He eventually found one on Magallanes Street, where an old lady named Doña Fefay lived. She was a widow and lives with her daughter, also a widow, named Doña Encarnacion.
He repented having neglected his studies the previous year because he was offended by his professor's remarks. He studied harder and made an academic comeback and was emperor. Once again, at the end of the school year, he received excellent grades and a gold medal. He recognized three classmates who had also been his schoolmates in Bainan under Maestro Justiano. When term break arrived once again, he returned to his hometown.
He visited his mother alone once more, and Doña Teodora shared with her son a dream she had previous night. Rizal, interpreting the dream, told her that she would be released from prison within 3 months.
During that time, Rizal had spent most of his free time reading different novels. He even persuaded his father to buy Cesare Cantu's book. Rizal's studiousness benefited him the following year as he was able to achieve high scores and win prizes in their quarterly examinations. However, he was not able to win a medal as he did not perform well in Spanish.
Rizal continued his third-year course. He found out that there was no vacant rooms in Doña Pepa's boarding house. Rizal was left with no choice but to move to a different house together with a rich townsman called Quintero.
Rizal was unhappy as the landlord was a bit strict with him, but he was still able to play and pray with the landlord's children. Around that time, Teodora Alonso was now out of prison. They came to embrace each other.
Mother, you're finally free.
My son, I fear this day would never come. Look at you now, so big and strong.
You've been through so much, Mother. I promise to take care of you from now on.
Jose, it's your strength that has kept me going every day. Now let us look forward and not back.
Around 3 months passed and Rizal had left his current boarding house and chose to return to Doña Pepai's house. Everything went back to normal, and what it used to be after he went back to his old boarding house.
For the rest of the year, Rizal only got the first in Latin, which made him a little disappointed as he returned in his hometown. His family still celebrate his achievement despite his disappointment in his academic performance.
I might not be giving enough attention to my studies, yet my family was still glad about my performance. Almost 13 years of my existence, but I still find myself lost. I don't think I could impress my peers with my skills and knowledge, despite the efforts I made.